The magic of the microphone. The magic of the microphone. The magic of the microphone. Greetings, one and all. I hope you're keeping well. Now, it's been a while. Apologies. The SE Electronics V7 MK. MK stands for Mars Kennedy. How did I come by this microphone? Well, I reviewed the V7 and the V7X, and I did some swapping of the grills, and I got a few comments about that as well, saying, where can you get the grill from? Well, I don't know really, SE I suppose. And eventually someone said, yeah, you can get it from SE, and it's, I think, $20 or £20 or something. Anyway, so it seems like a few people maybe were doing that. And then somebody mentioned that there was a version, the MK, which was, it is the V7X, which is your instrument mic, but with the equivalent of the V7 vocal mic grill. Check that video out where I swapped them about. This is slightly bigger and it's got thicker foam and blah, blah, blah. The other one's an instrument mic, so it's more compact and doesn't have so much in the way of pop resistance, which it wouldn't need ordinarily. So that's why I decided, okay, that'd be interesting to see. I must say I've been using it a fair bit. I've been using it with students. They rather like it. We'll look close up from above in a moment, and I'd say it's kind of grown on me, really. But I'll show you from above. I looked on the SE website, which doesn't seem to be working for me, and wasn't some weeks ago. And it comes up, but there's scarcely any text, and I can see what look like placeholders where text would be with a description, and some of the pictures are there, and you can click on various things, but it all looks sort of half down, so I don't know if that's my this end or what that's about. But anyway, I think what I did glean from various things is that it's supercardioid, has a spring steel grill, an elastic mount, which we shall see, gold-plated XLRs. It says it goes from 40 to 19 kilohertz, 40 kilohertz to 19, 40 hertz to 19 kilohertz, and it says it comes with a clamp and a bag and an adapter. Shall we look at those? You've seen them in the unboxing. Here's the box it comes in, which I quite like, much like the others, but different colour. Not much wastage. Comes with a clip, which is handy, I suppose. I don't know how many clips I've got by now. But anyway, anything else? Yeah, we've been through this. Look at the unboxing. I mean, fine. Everything seems fine to me. Well packaged. You get a spare foam if you don't like the red one. I was going to swap it out, but I thought, no, leave the red one because it kind of goes with the badge. And the students rather like it. They say, wow, look at that. I say, yeah, it's a piece of red foam. It could be black or purple or anything. But they rather like it. And actually, I think I rather like it now. Well, I more than think I do. So I've left it on there. That's that. Now, what the frequency response, I'm going to put that on the screen whilst I fire up my elderly tablet. This is quite interesting, I think. What I've got here is on the left the V7MK, and on the right the V7X. So the V7X is the instrument microphone. And I'm looking at the graphs, and yes, pretty much identical. Apart from, now I don't know how much to make of this, whether it's just a anomaly of the graph or whatever, because you can see they're pretty much identical. The only thing that seems to change to me is the proximity. If you look at the MK, the proximity starts at round about 500, just creeps in there, and then it's fairly steep. Whereas the V7X, it appears to start at around 1K, a little bit higher, and therefore, seeing as it reaches the same peak at the same place, around about 100, is rather more gentle. Would that be to do with the grill? I believe the capsule's the same. I don't know. I leave that up to you to try and figure out. But anyway, very, very close. Let's look at the other things which I don't normally look at very much. Well, they look much the same to me. Okay. Before we have a look above, I'll just show you that this is with a nitric plug. Very satisfying. Yes, sir. And no rattling. Not too stiff, not loose. Pretty much perfect. So I'm going to set this up and we'll continue from there. Alrighty, here it is then. Firstly, size-wise, as you can see, a little bit larger. It's USA 58. A little bit larger, longer certainly. Difficult to say. There, much the same really. Oh, I find this difficult. So I'm guessing if I find it difficult, they must be pretty similar. I suspect 58 might be a tiny bit heavier, but then done this before in the unboxing. We'll have a quick look round. You can see that finish. It's quite smooth. Can I feel those? Possibly. But not as pronounced as you might imagine. So we've got the MK moniker there, and at first, I'm never too keen on, there's a gentleman called Roger Hicks, who's sadly no longer with us, who used to write in photographic magazines. I remember him saying once, he's of the era, he was talking about jackets for whatever reason. He said worthy of clothes that the label was on the inside. And I think I feel a little bit like that. Not so much that, but look, it's quite, forget it's there really. Nothing against it, nothing against Mars Kennedy. It's just that I don't know if I want, personally, same with guitars and stuff. But yeah, I rather like it, I have to say. It's different. These stop it from rolling, I imagine. That's the idea, to some extent. Maybe a little bit agricultural. Are they a little bit obvious, a little bit clunky, perhaps? Might be nice if they're finer, but then they wouldn't work so well, would they? So, whatever. Just looks a bit like a nut. It's on there, but anyway. So there we go. This. Not the finest of threads, but then talking about... oh, I didn't mention the price, did I? £108, I believe, in this country. So, and they do the job. You're not going to be doing this often, I imagine. This is a spring steel grill. Not much to see there. This foam comes out. You can put the black one on if you like. To my fingers, for some reason, the foam is slightly softer, more pliant at the top there than at the side. But that, I don't know. Quite purdy, isn't it? Spring steel, yep, as they say. People go on about Mike's being tough or it's built like a tank and it's built like a tank. I mean, spring steel might be a good idea. I'm thinking that having something of a crumple zone, it doesn't matter how tough you make all this and this, it's whether that shock is transferred to this, the working bits, that are the issue. So how tough is that? You can make it as tough as you like on the outside. And in fact, having a bit of a crumple zone, somewhat like these tend to have, might not be a bad idea in absorbing some of the, it's a Beyerdynamic M88, absorbing some of the shock. And I know these dent reasonably easily. I wonder if that's the same idea, that if you drop it, they give a bit. You can always buy yourself a new one. Or as you know, perhaps you can, if you're careful, you can tap it out with a rubber mallet on a wooden dowel thing. Mostly. This one's not going to be so easy to do because of the shape of it. This I did complain about, not complain, I mentioned earlier, I don't know if you can see. It looks not very even round here. And I thought this was skew whiff in its mounting, but I don't think so, because when I turn it, best I can, the cartridge does seem to be centered, so I think it's just the finishing of this round here. Could be a little bit neater, but no worries really. And as you can see, very lossy. Ooh, look at that. I mean, again, people do talk about the SM58 being, lasting forever, and there are plenty of examples, including this one, that have been around a long time. This one lives mostly here, but I've seen them, being dropped and all sorts, and they're still going. Not all, mind you. I've had some people with new ones that didn't work, but I suppose it can happen with anything. So the only thing one wonders about other mics is they haven't stood the test of time as yet. So will this dry out? Will it come loose? I don't know. I have no reason for me to think it will. But I think part of the thing with the SM58 is the test of time. Mind you, these have stood a test of even longer time. But they are not as rugged as the SM58. They're a finer sort of instrument. There we go. That's that. There's not much more to see, I don't think. Another bit of foam there. Not as neat as it might be. Whatever. Sure it does the job. Those are the gold pins. Thing with gold pins, of course, is that that's gold plated. It's going to wear off very quickly from having non-gold plated. Even if you've got gold plated connectors, it's going to wear off. But it's a good place to start, I suppose. Oh look, there's something written around the edge there, which I can't quite make out. But so what can I say? I was going to say for the price. I would say not even for the price, within reason. I suppose if I was to pay, 108? If I was paying 300 or 400, as some dynamics are, I might like that to be tighter, but I'm not paying 300 or 400, and that would be the least of my concerns if I'm paying three times as much. I don't want other stuff to be. I'd expect more. Internally would be how it sounds and stuff like that. So really, no complaints, I'd say, for me at all. A little bit funky. The students like it. The young folk, they like it. It's grown on me. I've used it several times. I've used it on them, and I've used it on me. And I guess now we'll see how it sounds. Just show you the bag. Don't know if I did the thing I was probably did. Well, quite utilitarian. It's all right. Keeps it clean, really. I don't think it'd do much to. Is there any padding? Well, there's the slightest bit, as there would be with paper, with thick card, really. And fits okay. Easy enough to get out. Yeah. Okay, let's get on to the important bit. Okay, I've plugged in and balanced as best I can, and I nearly always seem to need to make an adjustment, but hey, I shall do so if required. This is the Earthworks Ethos with Icon Pro grille, not the foam grille from the Ethos, because for what I'm using it for, that little bit of extra clarity for me is useful. Albeit, I have to be a bit careful with the pops, maybe if I'm too close or right on it. So I'm kind of using this, obviously, condenser mic as a reference, because it's as near as I have in my collection, if you like. So I'm moving straight over then to the V7MK. Now I'm on the V7MK, which immediately I'm going to turn it up just a little bit. Now I'm on the V7MK. The first thing I noticed was that little bit of handling noise there, very low. So let me ignore that. Distracted me a bit. I can tell it, yeah, it's dynamic sounding, as you'd expect it is. Let me just go back. This is the Ethos. This is the Ethos. This is the Ethos. This is the V7MK. This is the V7MK. I noticed that there, and I noticed that there, which is okay. That's the dynamic bit for me. It dynamics in the bass there tend to be a little bit softer, and we've got that little bit of stuff at the top there, but it's not intrusive. And as I use it for a bit here, I think, yeah, that's okay. I'll go through all that stuff in just a moment. Let me just go over to the SM58. I got told off for holding them in the same hand and not having them exactly the right position. The gentleman said I should have the mic stands all lined up, have them all on a mic stand. I can see that, but I'd have to line them all up, measure them, and then I'd have to put my head in a brace as well, wouldn't I? Because otherwise my head would be moving. So really, if you'll forgive me, just have to go with a little bit rough and ready in that way. It's not scientific perhaps in that way, but I think it gets the idea across. So this has been the MK, and I'm getting used to it. Excuse me just a second. So this is the MK, and I'm going to move across to the SM58. Now I'm on the SM58. Now I'm on the SM58. Now this is the SM58. So what I'm noticing, there's lots of that up the top there, kind of not very clear really, shut in, and not much in the way of low end. Let me go back. Now I'm on the V7 MK. This is the V7 MK. This is the V7 MK. This is the SM58. This is the SM58. One more thing. This is the Beyerdynamic M88 2023. So I've got the two old boys here. We've got the SM58, which is, I think is 69, is it, or 66? Not sure. Later, and this one, which was designed in 62, but this is a 2023 version. So this is the Beyerdynamic M88, the Beyerdynamic M88. This is the V7 MK, the V7 MK. Okay, I'm going to stay on the V7 MK. That's enough of that for the minute. How am I invited to sing? Well, nothing stands out really. I find myself quite liking that. I find myself quite liking that. Going to move it away a bit, and some of that is reduced. Bring it in, as you can hear. Yes, sir. So again, a little bit like the M88. I'm feeling. I'm going to compare the two later. You've got to learn how to use it a bit. Incidentally, I did have a quick listen to Mars Kennedy, and rather like Phil Collins with the M88, I couldn't immediately see why they would choose these mics. So I feel sure, I don't know, I'd like to know. I imagine that with Phil Collins, they must have cut the bass just on the desk there, and that's the end of that. Because it doesn't use it. It would only sort of cloud things, I'd have thought, and thumping around and handling noise and all the rest of it. This one then with Mars Kennedy seems to be quite a highish rock voice, so I'd imagine that a lot of that part of it, which I should just cut now for the sake of it, 100 hertz, there it is with 100 hertz cut. I'd imagine a lot of that part of it, but maybe that's what he does, because then you still get some there. But to me, every time, I think it might be this desk, every time I cut 100 hertz, it just seems to ruin the sound of it. Let me put it back in, and let me roll the bass off instead, which is 80 hertz. Starting to get rid of some of the bass there. Starting to get rid of, now, bass completely off at 80 hertz, that's too much. Bring a little bit back. So there, maybe. There, maybe. There. Maybe Mars Kennedy does that, or his sound person. So, yeah, I'd be interested to know what. It seems to be the same as the V7. We looked at the frequency, it says that V7 on V7X, I beg your pardon, on the capsule. Have they done any tweaking? I don't know. Hiss, hum. Hissing. Sounds pretty clean and fast to me. Let me hear this one. Don't know, seems to be more detailed in that one to me. One would expect it, so fair enough, but sufficient. Let me try with the SM58. SM58. MK. Back to the 58. 58 is sharp and not as detailed to my ears. See what you think. on the MK. I'll do the breath test actually. Oh, is there much point? No, I don't think so. I've changed the way I haven't done things for a while, so I'm going to change it. Just look at something. Why was I doing that? So let me go through these. Let me do the breath out of order now. You can hear that handling noise there. Here's what it's like if I cut the 100. You just hear the upper bits same as much as any other mic, but then you've lost the low end. So you can use the bass and just dial in, or you can not fiddle with it. Up to you. Breath. Sounds good to me. Earthworks. Yeah, it's more open. There's maybe a little bit of that there, or maybe that's my voice. Gets to the point where you can't really tell, but MK. It doesn't do badly, and it's quite pleasant in the way it does it, even though it's not as detailed. SM58. To me, harder to hear through. Go between the 58 and this one. Yeah, a little bit more open. M88. Yeah, nice and open there, and the kind of detail in the you can kind of hear into it. MK. Yeah, maybe not quite as open as the M88, I think, but staying on the, I mean, £108 so far. I'm quite impressed. Pops, okay. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. 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 Who do you think you're fooling? 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 There's bound to be, isn't there? And what can you do? Put more foam? Oh, should we do that? Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. You can go for it with this on. Peter Piper picked, who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling? Who? So, almost bulletproof, bomb-proof, but not really. You can still hear some. You're bound to, aren't you? I'll tell you how you can stop it. Peter Piper picked a peck of pickled peppers. Who do you think you're fooling? Who do you think you're fooling? Job done. You get the idea. So I think as good as any, really. Better than some. It does go low, so you are going to get a few pops, because it goes low. Take the low end out. Pops. Well, you still get it. You get yeah, but it reduces that bit of it. So I don't know. As I say, no worse than many others. Maybe a bit better than some. Proximity effect. Proximity effect. Proximity effect. Proximity effect. Proximity effect. Very gentle. Can you hear? Not so much the proximity, but you can just tell it's closer. Closer. It is nice. It is detailed. Has got that lift. I could maybe do without it. I'd be interested without it, but that will put a lot of people off, I think, because they're so used to salt and sugar. They think, oh, it sounds dull. So, I don't know. Proximity effect. Proximity effect. Proximity. But it is sweet. It is sweet. It's clean. Sweet. Proximity effect. Proximity effect. Proximity effect. Some coming in there. Proximity effect. Proximity effect coming in there. Proximity effect. Proximity effect. Now, perhaps about as much as most people would want to, but if you're a voiceover artist or that kind of a singer, you might want a bit more. Proximity effect, proximity effect, proximity effect, proximity effect, proximity effect, proximity effect, proximity effect. There's the maximum at the pitch that I'm at. So that one, firmer, no? Yeah, but good. Try the M88. Yeah. 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 Is there much point trying the SM58? As well. Yeah. 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 Yeah, so depending on your voice, that's why I can't use, well, I can use it, but this kind of stuff I do, it doesn't work. So what have we got left? Polar response. So it's meant to be supercardioid. Let me see if I can get myself a bit more cable. I'll turn sideways so you can see what I'm doing. It's a right angle there, I can tell you, but I've got enough, I think, just about. Here we go then. This is it, straight on, coming round to the side, coming round to the side, coming round to the side, coming round to the side. A little bit of rejection there, I think. Straight on, straight, side, side, side. Yes, a little bit there. Side, 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 side. And then quite swiftly it tightens up. Obviously, you wouldn't be singing. Well, some people do, so watch out for that. Can you get pops galore if you sing into the side of it? Some people do. I've seen them holding microphones like that, but usually people who are speaking, announcing and stuff. Side, side, coming round to the side. Ooh, tight there as well, coming round to the back. And now some leakage, which you can hear is really quite low frequency. So I wouldn't expect too much in the way of squealing. They might get some booming if you're on the edge, coming back round again, coming back round again. Very tight rejection there, which is a want from those big speakers at the side, if that's what you do. Round here, round here, round here. There, pretty much on, I think. Let's see when I turn it more, but it sounds quite benign, quite neutral there. Coming round to the front, coming round to the front. Yes, maybe just a little bit more and up there, round to the front, round to the front. So there we go, supercardioid. Handling noise, well, you've heard that. Distant proximity, I've done that. Let me just, I'm going to get a little bit of a groove together, just kind of in the mood for it. You might not be, but here. What came to mind was, what's not to like? Particularly for £100 and something, but I feel I've got something I can say to people affordably that I could recommend. That's what I'm thinking so far. I'd like to be able to recommend the M88, and I do to some, but I do say try it, even though these two have got a little bit of something similar going on, which I'm going to go through. But it's expensive, and you have to learn how to use it. Some people really do like it, but they do. It takes a bit of a learning curve. I find difficult, really, these days, to recommend an SM58. I just find it difficult. I know people love them, and they've stood the test of time, but kind of what does that mean, really? So I've been a bit stuffed because people have been recommending. So at least I think I could say, if you like the idea of sticking close to the SM58, then maybe I could say the SEV7. I say if you want a little bit more, then maybe this. And they're affordable, so I don't feel like someone's going to spend over £400 on this and then not like it. It's so that's how I'm feeling at the moment. But anyway, I want to see what a man voiceover, maybe. I'd recommend it for that too. In fact, I would, because you can tweak away afterwards, can't you, with your voiceover more easily than you can live on stage. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But see what the man have to say anyway.
Maybe you're poor, maybe you have wealth, maybe in demand or maybe baby on the shelf. Whatever your situation, there's one thing you should do. Reject all automation. Let me work on you. I'm Mr. Manual. Automatic's not my style. Hey, I like to manually manipulate you. It's guaranteed to make you smile. They call me Mr. Manual. Automatic's on my style. Oh, they call me Mr. Manual. Automatic's not my style. I like to manually manipulate you. It's guaranteed to make you smile. I like to manually manipulate you. It's guaranteed to make you smile. Hey, I like to manually manipulate you. It's guaranteed to make you smile. Yes. El continente asequible.